Whew. Welcome back, everybody. Glad you're here. Um, I've got gremlins in my computer. I'm telling you that right now. I don't know what's going on, but something is trying to mess me up here tonight. So bear with me if something goes wrong. I apologize in advance. Um, but like I said, I always love getting your comments. I love hearing suggestions for new music I've never heard before. And I've got a lot of fan bases out there making requests. You guys, the Deanna, the Hua Shinyu, the Kino. Well, Kino. Actually, I'm doing Kino tonight. I dropped Tom McDonald this week and got a response from one of my subs, telling me that a bunch of people are waiting for me to do another Kino video, and I'm like, you know what, I haven't done Kino in a while, so yeah, I probably should. You guys have been waiting a while, and I really appreciate it. Been very patient with me. I apologize for the delay, but this one comes from Oscar. Lots of people already long time wait for Kino reactions. Can you please react to a song "A Star Called the Sun"? Yeah, I absolutely can do that, Oscar. I appreciate it. The probably the one tricky thing dealing with Kino is the translation. I can't go into a Kino song dry because I have to have the lyrics. These guys write some great lyrics. They write some great music, and they've been around since the 80s. Probably one of the biggest names in Russian rock, post-punk music. And just they're an amazing band to listen to, and their lyrics are amazing, and I love listening to them. But I can't just listen to them on the fly because they get kind of deep, and for some reason, every time I look up lyrics for these guys, I don't find just a simple here's the translation for a song. It's like 12, 13, 14 different versions of the translation. It's crazy. I don't know why. It's kind of nuts, but I'm definitely going to listen to these guys here tonight and listen to them with you, because this sounds like a really great song to do it with. I had to pull up several different versions to kind of grasp what was going on, but I have not seen the video, heard the music, or anything like that. So I'm going to be reacting to that, and then I have the lyrics pulled up here, so I'll be looking at those because just from reading the lyrics, it's a it really blends into the type of music that they make, with the statements they try to make on war and life and the planet that we live on, and the people we live on it with. So this is going to be kind of fun. So without any further ado, I'm already talking too much, I know. This is Kino with "A Star Called the Sun." Oh, and just for clarity's sake here, so I pulled this up off of a website. I looked for the one that kind of had like the most views. This had 3.3 million views from 6 years ago from Major Sam, and so apparently the footage is from the Soviet-Afghan war from the 80s. So they're kind of like putting it into the perspective of that battle, which a lot of people these days can identify with easily. So
белый снег, серый лед на растрескавшейся земле, одеялом лоскутным на ней, город в дорожной петле. А над городом плывут облака, закрывая небесный свет. А над городом желтый дым, городу 2000 лет, прожитых под светом звезды по имени Солнце.
all right, so I'm hoping I'm catching the right break here. It's white snow, gray ice on cracked earth, a patchwork quilt on her, city in a road loop. So you have fresh snow falling on top of old ice, muddy ice, and snow. covering up the gray ice and that's been churned up, and which is also covering up the cracks in the earth. It's a patchwork quilt on her, and there's a city in a road loop, or I think I saw one translation that said a city in a noose. So this is a city that's under siege, or a city that's facing death. The clouds float above the city, blocking out the heavenly light, and above the city, yellow smoke. The city is 2,000 years old, lived under the light of a star named Sun. Really great imagery here. So this is a besieged city that for 2,000 years has been locked in a battle and facing a lot of war, and it's a metaphor for Earth, where the Earth is constantly in a state of war, nation versus nation, brother versus brother in some way or form, and it blocks out the heavenly light from the sun, from the stars, and so everything's clouded up and smoky and under a pall, shadow of death.
И 2000 лет война без особых причин, война тела молодых, лекарства против морщин, красная кровь, через час уже просто земля, через 2 на ней цветы и трава, через 3 она снова жива и согрета лучами звезды по имени Солнце.
Said, and 2,000 years of war for no particular reason, war is for the young, so wrinkle medicine. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's for the young. It cures wrinkles because you never develop them. You never live long enough to get old. Everybody dies young in this war, and it's a senseless war that's been fought for two millennia. Red blood. An hour later, it's just earth. After 2, there are flowers and grass on it. 3 years later, she is alive again and warmed by the rays of the star named Sun. So it's kind of like this cycle. It has. The earth has to deal with all this bloodshed, but the blood flows into the ground, nurtures it, and grass and flowers come out of it. And 3 years later, it's this field of flowers and grass being warmed by the sun, but it's just going to go through that same process again, because over and over this war just never stops for 2,000 years. Really great imagery. You Russians are like really morose, but you have great imagery and you make such great points in such a like, it's just such a forceful way to do it, but the music is so calm and like, I don't want to say down tempo, but it's not really, this is kind of music you would hear if you didn't know the lyrics at all. You'd swear like this was some kind of like a love song, or a song about life in general or something like that. And it's this huge anti-war song. And it's just, it's amazing the way they blend this really cool music, which has a fantastic beat behind it. That drum is just really nice, just steady beat in there, and really just pounds the whole rhythm for this war song. And then putting this lyrics on top of it just deliver the blows so much harder, because you're just able to focus on those lyrics a lot clearer. Really, really, really awesome.
Что так было всегда, что судьбою больше любим, кто живет по законам другим, и кому умирать молодым. Он не помнит слова да и слова нет, он не помнит ни чинов, ни имен, и способен дотянуться до звезд, не считая, что это сон, и упасть опаленным звездой по имени Солнце.
So, and we know it's always been like this, that fate loves the one or more who live by the laws of others and who should die young. The one who does not remember the word yes and the word no. He does not remember ranks and names, and able to reach for the stars, except that this is a dream, and he falls scorched by a star called the sun. So you have these guys who are locked in this cycle of life and death, fighting these wars, living by the laws of others. You know, you're conscripted into the military, or you're under oppression by a foreign power, or whatever it is, and they die young because they're in this fight. He doesn't remember yes or no, so he doesn't know what he's fighting for. He doesn't know what's right or wrong. He does not remember ranks and names. They're just, you know, those things just kind of like fall out, and doesn't have a memory for him anymore. And he tries to reach for the stars, except that he's dreaming, and he gets scorched by the sun, a lot like Icarus, you know, alluding to like Icarus falling from the scorched sun. And it's this cycle of, like, you know, the sun at one point is like blocked from this city. But then when it gets through, when the smoke clears, it's able to come through and rejuvenate the earth. But too much of a good thing, and you end up being scorched by it and dying by the same thing that brings life. It's just this whole cycle of life and death and life and death. And wow, it's pretty heavy stuff, man. It's pretty cool. And I think the really cool thing here, I just realized this, is that we're watching all these images from when Russia was fighting in Afghanistan in the early mid 80s, and here we are 40 years later, and you know, other nations, you know, America and England and other nations have been fighting in that same country with the same results. You know, it just doesn't change. You go in there and it doesn't change no matter how much you think it does. And in another 40 years, who's going to be back in Afghanistan, or who's going to be fighting in the Middle East, or who's going to be fighting in Asia or in the Pacific, or, you know, these cyclical wars and battles just keep coming around, because that's just the way man is. He can't break that cycle. He's stuck in it. And so he lives under the shadows of the smoke. And then when it clears, he tries to reach for the stars, but then he gets burned by the same thing. And it just starts all over again. It's pretty powerful stuff, man. Like, you start reading into it, like, it gets pretty heavy. It's so good. Wow. Oscar, thank you so much for that recommendation, man. What a great song. Kino just never fails to never disappoints, just never fails to amaze me. I hope you guys liked it too. Tell me what you thought of it. I'd love to hear your reactions to it. If you felt like I did a pretty great job here, I'd appreciate it if you'd smash that like button. Hit subscribe. We're always looking for new subs, for new music. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. And if you got something I've never heard before, I'd love to know about it so I can react to it and listen to it and pass it on to others. And in the meantime, please check out my other stuff over here. And I'll see you next time. In the meantime, y'all be good. I love you. Stay safe. Bye.